So in this week's video, we're going to check out the little town of Summers. Summers is located on the northwest corner of Flathead Lake, and it's a very historic town. It used to be the port back in the day to transport all the lumber from the north end of the valley down across the lake to Polson, and then south from there. Right now, Summers has a population of just over 1,100 people. And as far as schools here, they have the Summers Middle School that coincides with the Lakeside Elementary School. And when the kids get done with both of those, they go up to Kalispell. So there's some great subdivisions right above town and around the lake. And there's also some great developments right along the lake and nice houses along the lake, and the old historical part of Summers right behind the downtown area. Let's go check it out. So we're going to start our tour of Summers coming in from the north end off of Highway 82. And this area you see right here is obviously the north end of Flathead Lake, but it's also the site of the new state park that just opened 2 years ago in 2022. And it is 106 acres. And it was donated by a family here that owns the hardware store, and they've been in the area forever. They actually own the hardware store here in Summers, down in Lakeside over in Big Fork. And they were nice enough to donate this land, and they've turned it into a state park. And it's a huge beach out there in the summer, and a lot of people go there. But as we get into town, we're kind of in the older part of town here. And Summers has tons and tons of history. Back in the 1900, a guy bought 500 acres of land down here and started a sawmill, and all the docks that were here on the north end of the lake. Summers was kind of the hub. The railroad built a spur down from Kalispell so they could get timber down there, and they would haul it then from Summers all the way down Flathead Lake to Polson and then to points beyond. And so a lot of the homes up here were built in the early 1900s. And unfortunately, the site of the old sawmill, they not only produced lumber, but they produced tons and tons of railroad ties. Well, when they were making all the railroad ties, there was all kinds of creosote that got down into the groundwater. So unfortunately, Summers is a part of a Superfund site, or there's a part of Summers, I should say, that's being cleaned up by the EPA, and they're testing all the water, the wells and everything over there because of the creosote that got down into the groundwater. But with that being said, it's got a lot of history in this town, and just kind of a cool little town here in the Flathead Valley. So the main street of Summers is about 2 blocks long, as you'll see here, and again, a couple of historical homes. You also have the Summers Bay Cafe that you see here on the left. It's kind of a great little cafe. You should definitely eat there. And then there's the hardware store I was telling you about. So we'll get turned around here and come at the main street from the other direction and take a look at, when we get around the corner here, there's a huge mansion up on the hill right there, the yellow mansion. That was built in 1903, and it was owned by the guy that started the lumber company. And there's the post office right there. But that place sat up on the hill and overlooked his whole operation he had going in Summers. And it's had quite the history itself. You can look up the history of that house online. There's all kinds of stories, and there's been a few owners over the past 10 or 15 years or so. It's been abandoned, it's been vandalized, and now it's turned into a wedding venue, and somebody has fixed it back up, and it's getting it back into the shape it used to be in. So it's kind of a nice spot. So here's the main drag, the downtown Summers area again. And as you can see, it's maybe 2 blocks long. And down there at the yellow sign, that's Highway 93. That's the end of the downtown area. And if you go just north of the downtown area, this is the Summers Middle School. And like I said in the intro, this is the only school in Summers. When your kids are in elementary, they go down to Lakeside. Then when they finish there, they come up here to the Summers Middle School, which was just redone a few years ago. It's a nice building. And after they finish the middle school, they head up to Kalispell and they go to Flathead High, which was the original high school for the Kalispell city. And as we continue on the north side of town here, we talked earlier about the spur, the rail line that they ran back in the day from Kalispell down here to Summers. Well, now they've turned it into a bike trail, bike and hiking, so you can access it right here in Summers, and it'll take you all the way north up into Kalispell, and then it follows the old rail line west of Kalispell for a long ways, so you can spend all kinds of time on this trail, and it's one of the great additions to this valley and this part of the state. So the real estate here in Summers is kind of broken up into 4 different areas. You have these subdivisions and developments that are up in the hills overlooking the lake and above the town of Summers. You have some newer ones over on the flats north of the lake as you head towards Big Fork, and then you obviously have the old town that we showed you earlier, and you have some houses right along the lake along the highway that heads south down towards Lakeside. So as we look at these areas, let's take a look at what's been going on with real estate in Summers over the past year. Currently, there's only 6 houses available for sale in Summers, and they range from $340,000 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,400 square foot house that's on 4 acres, but it's off-grid, and it goes all the way up to $3.9 million for a 4-bedroom, 5-bathroom, 3,900 square foot house that has 117 feet of lake frontage, and it's on just over half an acre. As far as what is sold in Summers, there was a house that sold for, it was listed at $360,000. It was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,500 square foot house on just under a half acre, all the way up to a house that was listed for $5.2 million that was 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 4,600 square feet with 100 feet of lake frontage on just under a half acre as well. As far as land goes, there's currently 13 lots for sale. They range in price from $159,900 for a 3/4 acre lot all the way up to $635,000 for a just under 20 acre lot. And what's closed in the past year have been 10 lots, ranging in price from a listing for $115,000 for just under a half acre, all the way up to a listing of $535,000 for just under 20 acres. So I hope you enjoyed this tour of Summers, and if you want any more information on houses or land around Summers, let us know.
Thank you for watching our video. Please call, text, or email for more information, and don't forget to watch our other videos about Montana.